So this is my Xterra. I love this truck. It's great. I got it because, well, I go camping a lot with the kids, and I got my last car stuck when we were camping, and I said to myself, you know what I need? I need an SUV. It needs to have four-wheel drive, and I used to own an Xterra, and I really enjoyed it. And so far, the 4x4, I mean, it's been great. I love it. We've taken it to the beach and stuff, and driven out on Daytona Beach, and we've done a lot of cool stuff. But gosh, I don't know, right after I got it, it started making these weird sounds, and I thought, oh, I don't know what that sound is. So I went underneath the truck, and I noticed that the catalytic converter, it was all rusted and stuff on the outside. I'm sure there's nothing wrong on the inside, but the heat shields on it had completely rusted all the way through. And then I started noticing all these other rust spots over the whole thing. And then I got a weird noise, a squeak and a clunk in the front end. Oh, God, squeak and a clunk. It's always the story of my life, right? I climbed underneath the front end and I took a look, and you know, there was a lot of stuff that was rusted out. And I'll show you, I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if you can really see how rusted the shocks are down here. It's actually flaking apart down here and stuff. And so what I'm assuming is that at the top or at the bottom somewhere, there's a piece of rubber or a piece of plastic. I don't know if you can see up here at the top or maybe at the bottom, I don't know which. Piece of rubber or a piece of plastic or something is gone bad. I mean, look, you can see that's definitely not any good. So I went online and I started looking around. I thought, you know what else? While I'm down there, I should go ahead and replace as much of this junk down here that I can. So I got inner and outer tie rod ends, and I got these sway bar joints, and I got new shock kits which come with new springs. And then I thought, you know what, while I'm at it, why don't I go ahead and replace the ball joint down here? Well, I didn't want to replace the ball joint because that's kind of a crummy deal, since I've got stuff like rust happening down here. Why don't I just replace this whole lower control arm? And then of course I started thinking about the upper control arm. So I haven't ordered the upper control arm yet. I want to, if I'm going to do the upper control arm, I'm going to get a tubular framed upper control arm. It just seems like it's a good idea. If I'm going to do all this work, I might as well put something good in there. Anyway, so I'll show you what I've got. So again, not all the parts are in yet. I'm still missing one of my inner control arms, but I don't plan on being ready to install that just yet, probably until the time that it gets here. I got a couple of cool things I'm going to do along the way to really make this project stand out, for me anyways, and make me feel good about what I'm doing. So let me show you what I've got, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Alright, so here I've got the shock kit. So this is a all ready struts. You see here's the SKU number down here. And they come with the spring already on them. Then I have some outer Beck Arnley outer tie rod ends, and I've got some camber bolts. Now these come 2 in a package, so if you're going to do both sides you need to get 2 kits. Those are AC Delco. Then I got, this is the inner tie rod end, I'm missing the other one. And then these are the front sway arm joints. And then here you can see I've got my 2 lower control arms, and they come with, there's the ball joint, and these are greasable, so that's pretty good. They have Zerk nipples right there on them. So that's what's going to get installed. Okay, so my first disclaimer is going to be about the parts that I ordered. I want you to understand that you can order parts online and they all look like one thing, but that may not be what you get. For example, these outer tie rod ends that I got, I ordered them specifically with Zerk greasable Zerk nipples on them, or at least one that you could screw in there, but they didn't come that way. So I got these ones that don't have anything on them. So of course that leads me to my next kind of discovery online. I was like, well, how do you get grease in there? I mean, I'm sure they're greased already, but without being able to apply new grease, they're going to last as long as they're going to last, and that's how long they'll last. With grease, you add grease to it, you know, once every other month or so, then they'll last a lot longer. I mean, potentially more than the life of the truck itself. The truck will probably fall apart before these things fall apart if you grease them regularly. Alright, so I ordered this Grease Tech grease pistol and some full synthetic grease, Valvoline brand. I read some reviews. This looks like it does pretty good. But then the question becomes, how do you get this inside of the boot with no Zerk on there? So basically I read that, you know, you get yourself one of these grease injector needles, and what this does, allows you to pierce the boot. It makes a small opening in the boot. You know, it's not going to last forever. The boot will eventually dry out, I'm sure, but this will get you some grease in there, and it'll last a lot longer than it would without the grease, even with the hole that you're putting in there. Now I guess it's a good time to talk about the project that I'm going to do. I'm going to take all these parts that I'm doing, and I'm going to degrease them. Then I'm going to prime them, and I'm going to paint them red, because I think that'd look pretty cool. Don't you guys think that'd look cool? So I got some masking tape to put over the rubber boots and stuff, and I guess I'll just start getting the parts out and cleaning them up. Then, so I got my paper towels out here. Then I'll prime them, and I mean, this seems like a really good way to go, since I've got a couple of days till my other inner tie rod end shows up.